All right, guys, so we are doing The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This is considered a novella. A novella is a small version of a novel. So we are now taking and we are reading from a school textbook. You do not have printed copies. So how are we going to do this? Okay, how am I going to require you to annotate? Essentially, there's going to be two ways you do it. Okay, the first one is going to be one that's probably pretty familiar. Is you take your lined piece of paper next to the book and you write down a page number and then you write down your comment and whatever you are referring to. Another thing you can do is use sticky notes. Okay, and as you're reading, you're writing your comments on the sticky note themselves, okay, with the page number, and then you place the sticky note in the part of the book that it's from. So you will have sticky notes sticking out from your book. Then when you finish, you take another sheet of paper and you put all your sticky notes in order on this. You'll probably have to use extra tape, okay, because it oftentimes does not work that the sticky notes just stay on there by themselves. So those are your two ways that you can be annotating. And yes, you are always required to annotate for my class. Talking about Ernest Hemingway's style, this is the author's style. Okay, he writes in very short sentences with very minimal words. Even the length of his sentences are his word length is very short. His vocabulary is not advanced. He doesn't use a very rich vocabulary and is highly tied to the setting. With The Old Man and the Sea, we're going to look at lots of boat terminology and vocabulary tied to the terminology for boats, tied to weather and other things tied to the sea. Dialogue, he does use a lot of dialogue. He's very rich in his use of dialogue. And then with repetition, he highlights important features and events through repetition. Now, we often are wondering, why does he use this specific type of style? Obviously, in all of his books, it's very similar in his novels and novellas. And why would he write this way? Many critics are claiming that the reason why he developed this type of style was because he was a newspaper reporter. And as a newspaper reporter, you want to report the facts and nothing else, and not make comments on them or add your own opinions. And you don't need to be overly wordy. And then if you are interviewing a person, you're going to be using dialogue, and you're going to want to use their exact words, the words that the person said exactly word for word. So that could be one reason why his style developed in that way. Setting, we are going to be in Cuba, but actually we're going to start on the land and we are going to go to the sea, as you probably can evidence by the title. So we're in a poor side of Cuba. Cuba as a whole, as an island nation, is known to be poor. Remember that this is in the tropics, so keep in mind what people would be wearing. Okay, they're not going to be all bundled up like we would expect. But the only question is, setting is not just a where, it's also a when. I'm not going to tell you, but I will tell you how to find out, which is one of your goals in looking at this text. You are going to look for clues through the use of technology or the lack of technology. How are people documenting important events? Are they using a camera? Are they drawing a picture of it? Have they pulled out their phone and are they taking a video, or are they just taking pictures of it? Does it look like they're texting? How are they communicating with each other? Are they using phones? Does it look like they're using letters and people are writing letters? Are they writing emails? Are they using AOL, which you might not even know what it is anymore? Okay, figure out different types of technology is going to help you. Modes of communication. Also, another important thing is the major mode of transportation being used by most people. Okay, now if we're in a specific area, we might be having people traveling by foot, and we would think it would be before the time when cars were around. However, if we're in a very small rural area, then we may not know that, yes, cars are around, but in the rural areas, people don't have access to them. The fish, all right? So this is going to be It's very important to know what the fish is. If you do not know much about marlins, here is going to be a quick clip that I'm going to skip through. You do not need the audio. I just want to show you a quick clip of what it looks like to be fishing for a marlin. So in this clip, this person has a bait that they're going to be towing behind their boat here. This is exactly what our main guy would be doing. He'd be towing it behind. That marlin are predatory fish, and it took the bait. You can see the animal fighting in the background there. They are known for jumping up out of the water and shaking their heads. As you can see, this person's fighting for all their worth. We can see that some time has passed. Okay, and this animal is jumping up out of the water, still trying to get the hook out of their mouth. This is considered a sports fish. This is not as well known in terms of wanting to eat the marlin, but sports fishermen often will go after them. These will often have fights that last a great length of time, and you can see how many people are on board here with very specific equipment. With the old man, he is not going to have this type of equipment. As you notice there, this guy has already been fighting for 3 hours before he is able to even get the marlin close to the boat. Now this is the marlin close to the boat. You can see him close to a person here. This is where it is extremely dangerous. And some of the key shots. All right, we are going to start the next video, which is going to have me starting to read the text for you. I would like you to be following along in the book and annotating as you go.